Okay, so I'll just say again, if I want to have a function, if I want my inverse to be a function, okay, it's not a function now because I've got one too many. One x value, like 5, gives me 2 y values. So if the graph is cut twice, there and there, vertical line is cut twice, it's not a function. So if I want my inverse to be a function, the question will normally say, what must I do to the domain of the function f so that my inverse can be a function? So you can say, well, if I take away that part and I say let the domain of f, let it be x must be bigger or equal to 0. Let the domain of f, this one, f, let it just be x bigger or equal to 0, which means I'm only focusing on this part. That part is out now. I'm only focusing on this part over here. That's my graph now. Just that red part is my graph. Then my inverse will only be this part. Okay, then it's a function. Because then I'm saying I'm only looking at the domain x bigger or equal to 0. That part. So my inverse will just be this part. So that part is gone. That part and this part is then gone. I only have it. Now it's a function. So now my inverse is a function because I restricted the domain of f. And then you can say that's your answer, you get marks for it. That's it. That's the answer. But some learners might say, I don't want to look at this side, I'm only going to focus on that side. So some learners might say, no, I'm going to say let or, so the other option is to say let x be smaller or equal to 0. If you only wrote that, then it's also fine. Because then you said, I'm going to let this part go. X must be smaller or equal to 0. So I'm only focusing on that part of the graph, which means my inverse will only be this part. Then that part is my function. X is smaller or equal to 0, just this part, which means my inverse will only be this part. Now this part is a function. So that's how you restrict it. You just say x bigger or equal to 0. Okay, for f. Or you can write that one down.